Welcome, everyone, to Chapter 24 of Here Be Dragons. My name's Philip, and I'm the Dragon Master, and surrounding me are said dragons. Roar, we're back, dragons!
We're back!
It's like night and day with these people versus the Sunday group, or the Tuesday group, I tell ya. The Tuesday group they won't say nothing. And Vanda's part of it.
No, it's you. You're overcomplicating it always. Like, say these 3 paragraphs real fast. No.
3 paragraphs? No. I say, see in the funny pages, doll, and they won't do it. And then one time I said, say hello, players, and it was actual crickets in response. Not one of the 6 of them said hello. And I said, this is why I need at least 1 or 2 actors in every group.
We had a meeting. We decided that we're gonna mess with you.
I don't doubt that. Because on the Friday game, those tryhards, I say anything. I say, like, if I said speak to the chair like it was someone you cared about deeply, if I just gave them an acting school exercise, they would do it in a heartbeat.
I believe it. 100% believe it.
Do it. Show us your vocal warm-ups, players. You would have it. We'd have butter-getter, red leather, yellow leather, unique New York. How's everyone doing? It's so happy to have this group back. It's
excited to be here.
It's been an actual minute.
I'm lost.
I understand. Yes, and so I have the players. Those of you who watched Blue Moon and who have been watching Lost Lore Academia, the system we're using will be a little more familiar just as we describe it. But we are using the lore pool system, and tonight's game. Last week was just a recap of the story. Tonight, which honestly, had I tried to explain the system last week too much info. So tonight is going to be, it's going to be a game. We're going to be doing a dungeon, a bit of a dungeon crawl for you guys. But we're going to be using this as a tutorial for this new system that we're using. To do the sort of briefest recap, even though last week we did the most in-depth of recaps, but before I do that, I should open a space-themed dice that has nothing to do, space-themed adventure dice calendar that has nothing to do with what's happening here tonight. I just am going to do it before I forget. We opened 7, tonight is 8. All right, what do we got? If it's a D8, that's really auspicious. Guys, it's a D8.
What?
That's what we need for this thing. We have a D8 with a rocket ship blasting off. First roll is the rocket ship. So, however,
we all won.
But what's fun is that in this system, the first thing I'm going to explain to everyone about this system for those, because we have 3 players who've never done this, 2 players who've done it a bit in Blue Moon, where it was a much sort of simpler version. So the main thing you need to know about this system, which uses the Horde dice. If we say it fast, it sort of sounds like we're saying something else, and I don't care. It's the Horde dice, or HD. We can also say, but in the Horde dice system, you roll D8s, and you want to think of it. It's almost more of like a, and yes, I may eventually do something with having a straight, because like I keep having people say I've rolled a straight but no matches, and I'm like that kind of should count for something. But in any event, the way this game works is the 8 sides of the Horde dice represent 8 different treasures. On your new character sheets, if you scroll to the right, I'm sorry that the sheet has multiple things. If anybody would like me to split the sheet into 2 separate tabs, if that's better for how your brain works, I can totally do that. I know some people don't like having to scroll in multiple axes, and I have a lot of information, apologies. So the way the Horde dice work is that each face of this die represents a different kind of treasure, and those treasures have different sort of like emotions or feelings or identities or sort of subjective ideas to them. So the number that you roll on your dice matters less than matches, but then sometimes what those matches are do matter. So for example, let's have Lord Buku Bazan as a sort of a test roll as we begin to get into this game. Would you please...
Of course, the leader should be the first one to roll.
I think it makes sense. And you know what?
He's so silly. I love it.
We're gonna do this in a way where we'll sort of set you up for so this will be a good one, then maybe a great one. I would love for you to make a calculate roll. Calculate is under the blue intellect column.
Indeed.
And calculate uses 5 horde dice. So you are going to roll your 5 horde dice, and you're going to tell us matches. Roll 5 if you have any matches.
I have 0 matches.
0 matches. So
I have 0 matches.
As
1, 2, 3, 5, and 8.
As Lord Buku attempts to calculate how many sort of like the current best route, kind of like the best route you're going and carrying what you've done. You guys have left a lot of treasure back behind, but as you try to calculate this, you kind of come up short. Maybe it's that your mind is scattered. Maybe it's that you've been walking on sand for 3 days. There's a lot of reasons, but the point is, Lord Buku is unable to successfully calculate. But fear not, we have 5 dragons.
Short, doesn't it?
Let's say that sensing this upsetness, could Tongart Lasso please look in your green will column and give me a detect vibe roll? Detect vibe is a skill that is basically like not reading a person, not detecting. It's not so much about like, is this person lying, what's happening? That is read person. But detect vibe is about what's the feel here? How's everyone doing?
All right, so I've got 6 of those.
6 of your horde dice.
All right. That is 1 pair talisman.
Of talisman. So in this case, you have rolled a 2nd degree success. So technically, if something's super easy, like sometimes I might have you roll and literally just so you can say, in fact, really should have done that for Lord Buku's. But we'll also explain what a failure is. So the point is, Tongart, you have a 2nd degree success. Most of the time, you need at least a 2nd degree success for it to count. You need at least 1 pair. But there might be times where I say even a 1st degree or any number would count, and then you really are just, from the ones you've rolled, picking what emotional color you want on your action.
Understood.
A 1st degree is kind of like immediately, but yeah, so Tongart, with a 2nd degree success of talisman, we're going to more focus on the protection mode of this, that kind of like a talisman being in a treasure in a treasure hoard, kind of, these are magical protective things often. You can sense that the group is kind of like getting, the mood is bad. You guys have been walking a long time. It's hard traveling across the sand, all this stuff. So you have a good sense that it's going wrong, and you probably want to protect the group's well-being.
Yeah, well, friends, I wouldn't worry about it. There's that thing the bipeds always say that I never understood until now, but that journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I feel like about now, we're probably about 900 of those 1,000 miles, so it can't be much farther.
Upon saying these inspiring sort of emotional words, let's have XigXag. Ooh, we're gonna do a new one for you, XigXag. And I'm sorry to do this to you because you're a new player, you're new to the system, but we'll do it. So XigXag, I would like for you to look under your intellect blue column. Towards the bottom, you have a skill called track.
Yes.
Now, what is your score for track? What is the
6 horde dice and 1, what is it, dragon dice?
1 dragon dice. So what this means is that you are going to be making, and for everybody else, this is any gray box you have. This is where you might have a dragon dice. Some of you have only 1, some of you have 2 for different things. It varies. So XigXag, I would like for you, being inspired by what Tongart just said, to please make a track roll. What you're going to do here is you roll all 7 of your dice that you have. So you're going to roll 6 horde dice and 1 dragon dice. And the cool thing is you don't have to say which one's the dragon dice ahead of time. You're going to roll all these, but after you roll, your dragon dice can change to any side you want.
So a dragon dice is just a D8, but then you can pick.
You then, after you roll them, you go, and I'm going to turn this one to this, and it often gives you a real chance to get lots of,
Well, my bright red one will be the dragon dice, I guess.
It can be anyone.
Let's see. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 2s and 2 7s, and then 8.
You have 2
And
2s.
5 and 6. And
Two
then I
s-
can.
So basically, you have 2 2s and 2 7s.
And
So-
then I.
You're going to. So you can change the 5, 6, or 8 to a 2 or a 7, so that you'll have a 3rd degree success. And when you make this decision, you want to look at the Horde dice key. 2 represents coinage. This is security, comfort, wealth. A negative thing that's connected to it, though, is greed. That need to, like, keep everything. 7 is trophy. This is victory, accomplishment, competition, but it can also be vindictiveness when you want to,
I don't see what is the negative in there. So
Well, vindictiveness.
yes, I'm
but,
going.
okay.
Yeah.
But so which of those would you like to have be the attitude, kind of the emotional? And here's the thing. A lot of times this is just flavor. This is just RP. There's not a mechanical difference here. But sometimes there will be a mechanical difference. And sometimes it will be a mechanical necessity. That's what I love about the system is I can, it can be adjust to, raise the stakes, lower the stakes, that kind of thing.
7.
You're going to go with 7. So as XigXag, being inspired by your words, Tongart, begins to track, and XigXag is incredibly good at tracking. XigXag is incredibly good at tracking. Gets one of those dragon dice. XigXag sort of determines, because it's hard to see, even though this place you can never see the sun, it still beats down on you in like a hot, merciless way. XigXag kind of triangulates your position from where those crazy purple mists are, and instead guides you towards this pyramid that Eldo sent you towards. What is called the Tomb of Infinity, which you're going to be doing tonight. So XigXag, with a 3rd degree success, and it's all about the sort of victory, accomplishment, and perhaps even some degree of competition for wanting to show up Buku. For whom, based on our recap from last time, you maybe blame for certain things. You lead the group in the
I
direction.
probably look really smug while I'm doing
Very
it.
smug indeed. So as you lead the group in this direction, I'm going to say that Shishu, let's have you make a roll. And I'll even, I'll throw this your way as well, but I can make a suggestion if you, oh no, here's what we'll do. Aha, I got it. Shishu, as you are going, you are maybe thinking about how the clothing that you're wearing is maybe, it's kind of like, it's weird wearing clothes, and perhaps what you guys are wearing is not perfect for kind of, traversing the desert. I'm going to ask you to look in your will, which is the green column, and the second skill there is called Compose Create. And I would like for you to sort of think of ways that maybe the clothing you guys wear could be better. However, if you look at your knowledge column right next to that in purple, you might notice that for draconic fashion, you have a +4 bonus. So typically what that means is this is for knowledge. I've kind of gotten rid of like knowledge-based skills. Like knowledge is, a lot about that. You're very good at it. So typically you don't have to roll for this. But sometimes when a knowledge area would apply to a roll you're going to make, you get to apply all or part of your knowledge bonus to that roll. I'm going to say because you are dragonborns but not full dragons anymore, your +4 bonus will be halved to a +2. So
does that mean I'm rolling 2 extra HD?
Exactly. So you're going to roll 5 HD, considering creating fashionable desert wear that is also functional. So roll 5 HD, and we'll see what you get.
Okay. Oh, I got 2 4s, a 2, a 7, and an 8.
A 2 4s, a 2, a 7, and an 8. And you will not be permanently charged for this part, so hold on a second. So with 2 2s, which is coinage, security, comfort, wealth, all that, and comfort is very important for this, so we can go with that sort of, we'll be in the fanciness. So a 2 is great, but sometimes when you guys make these rolls, you might feel that what you've rolled is not good enough. You wish that you could change the roll, enhance it somehow. That is where your power comes in. Below the table of your Horde dice key, there's another little section called General Uses for Power. Now, the main way you guys will use power, aside from your specific abilities or spells or things that only your character can do, You will also use power to prevent damage from happening to yourself. We'll get into that when we do a little fight sequence later. But for now, we're going to look at some of those other ones. There are things such as gain bonuses on rolls. There are things where you can predetermine one of the dice to be a specific number to like up your, up the likelihood you get it. You can also re-roll your whole pool if you don't like it. And you can even re-roll the pool, but keep some of the dice. Or, after the fact, you can spend 5 of your power to change one of your dice to another facet. So, Shishu, let's say that you can tell you need a success of 3 for what you're doing. You would need a 3rd degree success to come up with better, like, dragonborn desert clothing.
So question,
Yes.
how assigning these talismans, so getting 2 4s and a talisman would be protection and we want clothing that protects us. Could I go with that being the one?
Absolutely.
Or do I have to go with it? Okay.
So you rolled 1 4 already?
I rolled 2 4s.
Oh, you rolled 2 4s. Oh, I thought you said roll 2.
So
Okay.
I want to get to 3 4s to have a 3rd degree success, right?
Exactly. So your options would be to spend 5 of your power, and then you can simply turn one of the other dice to a 4.
Okay.
Boom, protective clothing, well done. Or, if you want to be riskier and maybe get a higher reward, you could spend 3 power to re-roll your dice, and then 2 more power to keep those 2 4s, and hope that one of the other 3 dice you roll would be a 4. But maybe 2 of them would be, and then you'd do even better.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So I would spend the same amount of power.
In this case, you spend the same amount of power. In other cases, you might have like 4 dice you're trying to keep, and then it becomes much more expensive to just re-roll 2 others.
Right.
But yes.
Okay, well, I'll do the thing where I keep the 2 and I re-roll 3 of them to see if I can get one more 4.
So just roll 3 d8s, and you just need a 4.
Okay. I got 2 8s and a 7.
2 8s and a 7. So, in that case...
2 8s and 2 4s.
2 8s and 2 4s. Well, 2 8s is weapon, power, strength, combat, but you still probably want 4 more talisman. So, your character would have spent 5 of your precious power, and you can still spend 5 more to change one that you just rolled to a 4. And
I feel like I'm gonna need that power when we walk into
this is like a even
Oh,
prologue.
is it freebie?
This is a freebie. I'm just explaining the mechanic.
It's like playing with an open hand.
Yes, exactly.
I spend 5 more points.
Okay, cool. So you spend the 5 more points. Shishu, you spend these 5 more points. You change one of those 8s, or maybe you change the 7 to a 4, and suddenly you come up with you suddenly realize, oh, the problem is the way our feet are shaped, and kind of at some point you think you can adjust the clothing and boots you have, and they'll be perfect. Now, you have just spent, in this kind of like tutorial, you have just spent 10 of your precious power.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this is you don't actually have to rest to regain your power, provided you are not like engaged in like dire situations and stuff. You get power back at a rate of 1 per hour. So, overnight, you'll have all that power back. Now, this does mean that with you guys having 40 power, it actually, if you ever go all the way to the limit, it takes a while for it to come back. This is not true for Tongart, mind you. Wait, I thought Tongart was spelled TH. Am I wrong?
Nope, you're right. I spelled it incorrectly.
Oh, gosh. I do not want to spell Tongart's name wrong.
No, you're fine.
So basically, Shishu, over the next night's rest, you'll get all that power back, as you also kind of adjust these clothing. Elon,
Yes.
we'll close with you here. And actually, since you have, Elon, since you have already, or Andrew rather, since you've played this system before, I'm gonna kind of I'll let this one be freestyle. As you guys make we'll say that you have set down for camping for this first night. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'd like to sort of sit after fasting for a while.
For your brain? It's like sharpens your brain to fast?
I feel like, that and like growing out my scales. And I'd like to try to connect with my inner voice, and like look into my kind of I don't know, like myself or like where we should be going.
Understood.
Probably won't find much in there then.
I love this plan for you.
Might be looking for a while.
I think that as you hear yourself being mocked by Lord Bukupzan, you're just tuning him out because that's the thing you do. I actually want you to make a read person roll on yourself.
Read person.
Read
Okay.
person is green for will. But you know what? God damn it. Elon, you fasted. That is, you're disrupting the way that metabolism should go.
Yeah.
But also you don't have enough calories, so we're going to give you a half bonus of your disruption bonus, so give yourself 2 extra dice on that. And before you roll, because you know what you're doing and this is for free, would you like to spend any power beforehand? You currently have 7.
Shoot, I already rolled.
Then yeah, you can spend it after the fact. It's all you're playing with house
but you
money
know what?
right now.
I'll go ahead and let's see. We would pool including any bonuses. 1 power, reroll the others.
I hate it when Elon fasts because he thinks he's being disruptive, but he's really just like being bad disruptive. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. I'll spend.
I'll be honest. I feel like that's his natural state.
I'll go ahead and spend 5 because I'll reroll 2. Okay, yeah. So that's a full house, you know, like the house I grew up in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's triple artwork and a double gemstone.
All right.
Like full of cool things, like material possessions. Is that what you meant?
So you had like 3 fathers but no mothers.
All right.
Like he says, the full house.
That's literally the picture of our mom.
Buku turns to Shisu and goes, "Oh, that must have been so hard to live in such a small home with so many folks in there. That without having your own wing to yourself, I can't imagine the struggles you must have gone through. You're so brave."
Elon, with 3 artwork, your primary role here. I think that envy, the negative emotion, is going to come up here. Because it is frustrating to you that despite you clearly being the best of this group, which you know, there's a voice that's been saying that in your head, kind of encouraging that feeling. You're frustrated that people still consider Buku.
Who's these people? Who's these people?
Exactly. You have to change the narrative. But honestly, you even probably resent just how XigXag's like leading you guys all the time, and Tongart's trying to like cheer everyone up. It seems, people aren't listening to you. And that
doesn't feel good.
That voice in your head, as you realize just deep down, there's this voice in your head that sort of basically whispers to you once again about that negative emotion as you read person on yourself. The voice says, use it.
Use what?
This feeling.
Yeah. I'm angry.
You are.
Yeah. I mean, in a sort of zen way, but still very angry and perturbed.
You are the most centered, angry figure.
That's right.
We've ever encountered. With your gemstone secondary, there's going to be another thing that happens in this. This is with brilliance, rarity, harmony. We're not going to go to obsession on this. We're going to keep this with harmony, and it's specifically the sort of the lack of harmony. Elon, over this past day that you all have been walking, you have a feeling that something has changed. Something imperceptible, yet foundational. Almost as if the rules of the world have altered. But as we end this part 1 of our of our of our tutorial, we will say that you all rest. You get back all power expended. You have dark dreams because that's what the Dreadlands are about. And the next morning, XigXag, without any issue, you lead the group to the Tomb of Infinity. This pyramid is dark brown. It is very, it is not built with any sort of kind of ostentation. There's no gold. It is just this kind of stark, dark brown stone pyramid. Four-sided. You know, according to Eldo, that this is the deadliest of the pyramids. Its treasure is simply called the Pyramid Within, a small statue of a pyramid that can be expanded to be a full pyramid. This is what you guys wanted to get first.
Yo.
Wasn't it the Tomb of Gentle Breeze where we were heading?
Is that where you guys...
I
Oh.
have it written down on a yellow sticky on my sheet, so...
I thought that's where you said you were going, and Elon said he wanted to go there. Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. You're going to the Tomb of the Gentle Breeze. Okay. Tomb of the Gentle Breeze. Yeah, let's run that instead.
I knew something. I actually knew something.
I was just trying to... No, that's great. And then when you do the Tomb of Infinity, it can actually be lethal like it's supposed to be. Perfect. Okay. Tomb of the Gentle Breeze.
Oh, no.
Excuse me, what?
So, as you look at the Tomb of the Gentle Breeze... Oh, God, this is the one that has those... Well, yeah, unspeakable horrors. Well, I can do it on the fly. That's fine. So, this tomb, unlike the other one that you were describing, is a beautiful gold inlaid tomb of white stone with gold trim sort of up the sides and kind of creating these lattice works over the various huge blocks. At the top of this tomb is a massive crystalline wind chime, and would have mentioned this earlier had I known where we were going, but you actually in the distance hear this kind of like distant like chiming of these basically like 20-foot long crystal wind chimes that are hanging up above. This kind of ding, 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 and it kind of like fills the area with this sort of strange, beautiful kind of windy sound. And the winds here can be very swift. And thus the Tomb of the Gentle Breeze is before you. Let me just find this real quick.
That was y'all feel like that was like a lot longer walk than we thought it was gonna be, like an optical illusion. Felt like we were walking for like, I don't know, something maybe like 8 months, felt like.
It was definitely at least 1,000 steps.
Indeed.
Or miles. I can't remember what's longer, steps or miles. I don't know how humans measure things.
I can inform you on this one.
Kilometers
in
are the longest.
Okay.
Human
thanks.
form, they tend to use larger distances. As full grown, when we normally are, steps usually suffice, for many of us. But
oh, by the way, as you guys stare at this, we'll even say this happened because I was doing that quick thing, and of course, with this group, naturally you did it in character, so I kind of neglected to do one last thing, because we are in a domain of dread. But 13. Oh yeah, there's no way to roll 13.
We cannot roll 13.
Yep. No. But there is one last thing I have to do, which is I never gave today's invocation. So.
Oh yes.
The invocation
Crucial.
for today. As you look at this and you hear these chiming winds, and Tongart talks about how far it is, the invocation will sort of there's a cold open to today's, then the invocation. Every Saturday night, I felt the fever grow. Do you know what it's like? All revved up, with no place to go. So. A long walk. A strange vibe. And a tomb ahead.
Anyone remember what it was we were coming here for? Seems to have slipped my mind.
Treasure, I
Well,
think.
yeah.
That I believe goes without saying. If I'm not mistaken, isn't there a grand deity of our distant kinfolk that runs this area, and we must
Oh,
defeat or
yeah.
evade?
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me of the grand picture there, Buku. I'm aware of that. I mean more like specifically what's in this tomb that we're looking for. This structure ahead of us.
All of you remember Eldo's
I just
words.
assumed there's always.
There is always treasure. You specifically remember that Eldo mentioned to you all that there is a weapon called the Sword of the Gale. A powerful sword that once belonged to someone called Isora the Tempest Mother. This sword is
that
guarded,
could be useful.
and this tomb is guarded by the Aurae nymphs, Aurae. I think that's how I pronounce that. Yeah. All right.
We need this sword to defeat.
What's
this-
the name of the sword again?
The Sword of the Gale.
Right. I remember now. I believe this is gonna help us against either Bill Bluster or his Ma. You know, seems like it might help us if we're gonna
right.
head to a plane of elemental air having a sword of the gale.
Bill Bluster gives me the shivers.
Unless we get down there and find out it's spelt the other way around, then it's gonna be a whole different kind of gale, and then we'll take that. As
We'll figure it out.
Sword of the Gale?
Just-
Like,
Gale,
summons
like a
Gale-
strong wind.
no,
Yeah,
he was
summons-
a different kind of
Yeah,
Gale.
no, just
Like
the sword just summons
Golem
Gale the
Gold
snail.
Gale.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
And then
sure,
that-
sure.
Or Crystal
like-
Gale.
You have to be named Gale to wield it.
Just a regular sword, though.
In fact, XigXag, why don't you give me a look roll?
Look or luck? Look.
Look, sorry.
Which is in physicality?
It is
Is
in
it?
vitality, in fact, in this game.
Vitality. Oh gosh.
Oh, and that actually reminds me, I did not give everyone luck. We'll get to luck. You know what? We'll do luck when we
Oh.
get to luck.
And just, I just
Yeah,
assumed
maybe
my
less.
my number was correct, Philip.
I haven't ordered added luck. Sorry, guys.
I would say I think as a group we have phenomenal luck. We have yet to die, and we have traveled all over the
Yeah,
place.
and we
made
tried so
many
hard.
enemies.
We had tried so
Accurate.
hard to die, and we haven't
We
succeeded.
All right, so
Yeah. put in some
I
effort
have
on that
three
front.
sixes. 666.
3 6s.
Yes. which
3
is
6s for a look roll, because you do roll a lot of
Trinket.
dice when you do
Okay.
that. So 6s are trinket, memory, reminder, contentment, but it can also be desiderium, as you sort of,
What the heck is Desiderium?
Um,
Here comes dictionary.
kind of like listlessness about, kind of like stuck in the past, your mind just, going into kind of, what's the word I want to say?
Daydream?
I
I
like a
don't know.
mental
My
desert.
dictionary doesn't even have this word.
A daze?
It's almost like
Lethargy?
ennui. Hold on.
Blaze?
Remorse, regret, just kind of like a like everything's pointless. What's it's all wrong. It's all sort of So, anyway, as you think of this, your eyes XigXag catch, and XigXag, you're a fairly well-read dragon.
Yes, I like books.
So you recognize symbols connected to air deities, air gods. This is clearly a very sort of, wind, you see sort of those like boreal carvings in gold inlay over some of the large stones making up this huge pyramid.
Okay, do I read them?
I think it's just you recognize them as
Oh.
and you can spot them from this angle. For the rest.
Okay, I'll share my knowledge because I share. Unless some people.
if we get closer, I can read those for us. See what's.
Do
What
you
they say,
need
huh?
me to lift you two up? lift you up so you can reach them? Or see them better?
Are you trying to imply that I'm short? Is that what you're saying? We are both
I'm
of
just
a
trying
very
to be
similar size
helpful.
frame right now.
I'm trying to be helpful here. You don't have to be so defensive.
I'm not. I'm just trying to.
There is no reason why you should be defensive.
Are they high enough where I would need assistance to get up to touch them, to read them?
No.
Yeah, I'll be
Or-
fine. Thank you.
I'll rephrase. They're big enough that you wouldn't.
It's fine. I can read them from here. Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
I was just afraid.
So do you approach the tomb?
Yes, I would like to read the runes.
You should
Understood.
be approaching it carefully.
Actually, before Lord Bukubzan, before you just walk up there and like sort of touch something real quick here, I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little something on you, and I will spend 5 power to put a ward of protection on Bukubzan.
Is there anything like tracking traps?
It's
Pressing
just
traps or any...
no, it's just perception and the usual
So
means of that.
basically, for the next hour, if you would take damage, 1 power will prevent 3 damage instead of 1 damage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
Shishu,
I take a
thank
few
you.
steps back.
Shishu's a good person to put that on because that'll
Like,
synergize
hey, wait a
with
minute.
Shishu a little bit. Yeah.
Well, don't worry, Shishi. Whenever you're kind of heading into danger, I'm sure I could break
Okay,
off a
great,
little
thanks.
protection for you as well.
As I'm approaching, can I kind of see if I'm just assuming this is kind of desert expanse up on coming up to this tomb. Is there anything that jumps out at me?
In fact, yeah, no roll required for this. As you walk, you can see that there was once some sort of larger plaza out here. In fact, there's probably a few obelisks sort of still standing, but many of them have kind of been, one is toppled, some are kind of halfway buried by a sand dune. It doesn't seem like this is a place people have come to. You certainly see no footprints leading up to it, which means no one has been here in the past, day or two, or maybe hour,
Right.
given the winds are somewhat swift here.
Any? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Any similarity to Wyrmloth architecture, culture?
You recognize in the sort of carvings, the structure is pyramidal, and it's entirely the way that things here in High Delket seem to be. But the carvings are, you see them at places in Wyrmloth that are especially for like dragons who are like the super high flying dragons, those who represent the flyway through like believing that like to pray to the flyway, we must give some homage to lesser wind deities who lift us up on our mighty wings. It is familiar iconography, so probably sort of things that are multiplanar in nature that transcend those religions.
Excellent.
But the
Buchel just mumbled to himself how backwards these folks probably are. A little bit provincial here, but at least there's some semblance of culture.
Well, greatness always does have small beginnings, Lord Buku.
That's very true, Tangard. We always said greatness has very small, step stools to climb, but not beginnings necessarily. Greatness is inborn. We're already quite lofty in our appearance and ideals,
I think step stools aren't used in enough phrases.
Yes.
That is a
we
very
must
unique
appreciate those.
Vazin Keen turn of phrase there.
I'm gonna say that Buku, you probably made it to maybe 60 feet from the entrance to this, and there is a very clear entrance at the base of this pyramid. You're about 60 feet from that. That's where you could read everything fine. It seems the rest of you have come up basically to there with him. Is that correct? You guys have. I mean, maybe some are in the back, but you're in that area.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
It
definitely
might
within
be
60 feet.
wiser to stay back.
Okay,
I
so
can
you're
see the
XigXag.
dog.
You're kind of alone further back, or
No, I'm there too. Fine.
all right.
Yes, our Bazan Keen may be a little bit shorter of stature compared to some of the other peoples, but of course, we make up for that in our
Oh.
natural,
In
regal.
your
I
egos,
believe
yes,
so.
you do.
Yeah, there was nothing qualitative about it. That was just sort of an interesting turn of phrase. I hadn't heard that before. It's just, I like it.
Yes, I'm surprised it's not. It hasn't made the rounds. Usually, many of our turns of phrases are emulated by the other kingdoms and folks around. As we're what one might call
Buku.
disruptors
I have
of
I have
noble.
a favor to ask.
Yes,
If you happen to die, can I have your brain?
I have time to die. Can you have my brain?
If you happen to die, I mean, I wouldn't wish you, but if it just unfortunately happened, I am skilled in brain removal. I could preserve your brain for posterity.
Let us.
Well,
Do you have? Wait.
Just in the off chance if it happens.
well,
I
Zigzag.
hope it doesn't, but
Well,
you never know, you know.
well,
Zigzag,
admittedly,
you can do that?
Oh yes, I learned it from my stepfather. He was big about brains. Yes, he collected them.
Oh, you can have mine if I die.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So kind. See, Boku?
I just feel like people would want to know what I'm thinking after I'm dead.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
well.
Oh, we should go in. I'm gonna lead the way.
Yeah, Shishu, you walk up to the doors of this.
Do the
sort of
words
this-
say anything on this pyramid?
You haven't seen any. When I was saying sort of like just like symbols. It's just like carvings,
Understood.
like things. There's no writing or anything.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought it was like word art. Like this place has a
Word
vibe.
clouds, just a bunch of word clouds. Yeah. You have not seen that. Although actually, I guess Buku, once you get to the front gates, you do notice and your eyes can read all of the writing. They're probably unfamiliar runes to the rest of you, but in runes that do seem sort of elemental or sort of the air. You do see something that identifies this, the tomb of the gentle breeze. It is sort of and it is kind of across these two large sort of stone doors, graven into the doors that are sealed shut.
Oh.
We have arrived at the tomb of the gentle breeze.
Well,
May I take a moment and examine the door to make sure there are no dangers about it?
Yeah, sure. Make an analyze roll. That's probably a hard one for you.
well, and while Buku is taking his time, I'll go ahead at this point, and if Shishu's going to be leading the way through this tomb, I'll go ahead and put a ward of protection on her as
I
well.
thought you'd never ask. I mean,
Ooh,
Oh, I'm sorry. You're
Yes.
right. I should have asked Shishu. May I put a ward of protection on?
yes, I consent.
Excellent. Well, here
Yeah.
you go.
She sort of has like a blanket consent.
the DD means I can change any die.
After rolling, change anyone to anything else.
Then that would be a four weapon.
4 weapons.
what I got.
So strength,
Yes.
power, sort of the martial feeling, with kind of you wanting to conquer this tomb. And step 1 is like punch any traps on this door into oblivion.
I feel like I'm trying to act as big as possible to impress Shishu while I go about this. Like, hold on a minute. Let me examine this first.
Your analysis indicates that this door is neither trapped nor locked. It is just simply extremely heavy. And I will say with your 4th degree of success, that can kind of, in your analysis, as you're, it's there's just numbers whizzing past Buku's head and in a million different kinds of writing going as he's kind of analyzing various texts he's read and such things. You would suspect that the door is probably something that can be opened by physical strength, but what is keeping it closed is a tremendous wind from within. And you suspect that a powerful being, it is not something that is expected of all of you, and you could give it a shot. Perhaps some kind of wind entity could send a gust of wind back at it, opening the doors, kind of overpowering that which keeps it closed so they might enter.
Let's go. That's on. Stand back, everyone. This is not the simple door it appears to be. It seems like this is being held together, I should say, held closed by some powerful wind magic. Not belying the name of the temple itself, yeah. We would need some kind of powerful gale force entity to, I think, open this door. Unless, perhaps, Shishu, you are the strongest among us.
I'd love to open the door, thanks.
I know this might be too difficult even for you.
I walk over
But-
and try it.
Understood. So Shishu, as you just push on into it, you're just pushing the door as hard as you can?
I mean, does it look obvious that it pushes or pulls?
It
I
is
mean,
definitely.
Any of us ha-
In fact, as you get up there and like Buku kind of did it, like the door is. It's not like the door is like shaking, but like it's clearly like there's
being
a
pushed by with
there's
the
a
wind
sense
on
that
the
it's like
inside.
being pushed. So yeah, you're supposed to try to open it up with this stuff. There's two doors. You can just try to open one or the other, or Aragorn both of them open. That's gonna be tougher.
But I'm gonna tell everybody to stand aside in case there's.
Hang
There-
on for a second. Doesn't one of us have a wind breath?
One of you might have in a previous version, and if it's something somebody really wants to keep, we can return it. But right now you're kind of all just fire breathers. If anybody had a wind breath they remember and loved, we can certainly discuss. Also, I would you can clearly make the argument to me that if you can breathe huge gouts of fire, you must have lung capacity to breathe. So if you just want to try to do it with breathing, you may. But Shishu pushing probably seems like a good place to start. Shishu,
Yeah.
you are going to make a lift roll if you are simply pushing it as hard as you can.
Okay.
And that is
That's-
6. Now, before you roll, you have your 40 power. You can spend, since this is a tutorial, I'm just talking you guys through this. You can spend 2 power to gain a bonus.
An extra dice.
An extra dice on this, so you'd have 7 at that point. In fact, you could
It's
only do that a
worth
max
every penny.
worth every penny, and you could do that multiple times, but you cannot exceed 10 when doing this.
Okay.
So how many are you going to purchase? Just one?
I'm purchasing one.
One extra, so you're
I'm
going to roll
rolling
7 beautiful horde dice.
Oh, can we spend our power to help other people out?
You cannot spend power to help other people. I believe, Tongart, you may have. the
Sorry,
ability to
Buku,
do
you
that.
can't.
I mean, only like in terms of healing people, yes, but not in terms like.
There may be circumstances. The answer to that, Buku, is under like stressful circumstances. I would allow that. It might even be a thing of like you have to give them you have to spend 2 to give them 1. It might be like a bad return thing. But there are definitely times where such a thing, it makes sense that you'd be giving your power to your team. Absolutely. All right, Shushu.
I got 2 3s and 2 4s.
2 3s and 2 4s. One is sort of the magic miracle of pushing against magic. The other is the brilliance, the rarity, the harmony of the wind chimes above, kind of recognizing wind as this harmonious thing. So you have 2 successes. Which of those do you want to choose as your success? And do you want to spend any more power on this attempt?
I would say the 4 talisman because I like the whole miracle of it all.
The miracle, the fact that some miraculous magical thing is happening. So Shishu, with a 2nd degree success, shoves against this door with her prodigious strength, and the door does open about like a quarter turn or so. As it does so, you guys do hear this incredibly loud blowing from within, and Shishu, you've exerted yourself, you've done it. There's the idea somebody could sort of slip in, and Shishu, I'm going to give you, actually, sometimes you declare them ahead of time, because you rolled 2 successes on this. Your success on the miracle doesn't sort of give you a full, you're not opening the door, but you had a 2nd degree success with a gemstone. I'm going to have that actually be on a look roll. So as you looked inside, you can see that there is this whooshing of air, but it does appear that right below, if you were to be able to open this door fully, you could slip down into an area that doesn't seem to be rustling at all. There is kind of like a short, like 5-foot drop into the actual walkway. So kind of basically it is you push it open, you sort of fall down, and then you're in a space and you're not being blown, and you kind of just with your brief glance, it looks like that is some sort of walkway. So you see that,
but I'm not in it. I just
you're
see
not
it
in
when
that.
the
You
door's
see it.
open.
You're beginning to push, but it overcomes you. But you do manage to see that with your sort of second set
Okay.
in there.
So
So
I tell them about that.
wonderful.
The Infernal Battle Standard, can that be broken? That can't be, right?
It's a magic item, so breaking it is hard, but not impossible. And now that we're doing less D&D stuff, easier, I suppose. But it is a loner item from one Bill Bluster. So
What would be the chances of me being able to put that in the door to keep it propped open so we can all slip in? And pull it
understood.
out with it?
Because it is magical, using it as a lever is probably a better bet. Using that or any magical weapon or sword would probably be more powerful than probably a better opportunity than you doubt it would break
All right.
from a thing like this. Yes. Cool.
What do you all say? We give it a bit of a push, and I hold it open with the battle standard. We slip in and slip out.
If it worked, you'd be my hero.
All right, everyone, let's go. All of us on the door.
Right now.
We push on 3.
Seems like a fine
Right, and-
strategy.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, push!
So with everyone pushing, I'm gonna have Shishu as I assume. Does anyone have a lift of 6 under their orange physicality?
Me.
Oh, Tongard has 6 as well.
I'm a little bit strong.
Well, then never mind. In that case, Tongard and Shishu, I would like for both of you to make this roll, and with your 3 buddies helping you here, what is everybody else's lift score?
4.
3, 4. Elon, do you know your lift score? It's in
3.
the orange. 3, 4, 3. That's fine. I'm going to say in that case, we'll sort of do. I'm going to split this. You both get. Let's give you both 3 bonuses on this.
Oh,
So you both roll 9. As it's a group.
Okay.
I mean, it's a group effort, you know.
Good, because that's all the D8s I have.
Perfect. So don't spend your power to buy one more because you don't have a D8.
I can't.
Yeah.
Wow, I got a triple success on 1.
Hooray!
And I got a triple success on 6.
Oh, you have 2 triple successes?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is fun.
Yeah.
Great. Tongart, what do we got?
I have 2 to the 3rd and a pair of 7s.
So with 3 total triple successes, and I think the specifics of this is a circumstance where just degree sort of matters more. I will say that with both of you scoring a triple success, you actually are able to fully sort of push the door open, and Shishu, because you've rolled an additional 3rd degree success, you can hold it open. So Lord Buku, though you prepare to push it in, you see that like all of you doing this, you've got it. And actually, though you're being blown in the face by this just like massive gale that is kind of, and you see the other doors like rattling now a little more that this one's open, but you can see that just below there is this kind of walkway and you don't even need to prop this open. Shishu has it for a moment. If you, Elon, and XigXag want to go down, you're confident that you could do that and they could probably drop down right after you.
Quickly, let us go. Yes.
Then with that, as the group kind of goes down, Tongart, you'd probably go after them, and then Shishu with one last kind of burst of strength, aided by everyone in the group, you manage to sort of drop down, and soon the 5 Dragonborn find yourselves standing in a grand but somewhat unused kind of cobweb covered, and the cobwebs are there might be like a little bit of rustling, especially the ones at the top. There's this wind, and you can even, it's the strong enough wind cartoon style, it looks like you can see, you know, like the white like over you, but there is this sort of nicely decorated, the same sort of, boreal symbols and little sort of cherub-faced things blowing and like winds here and there kind of adorning the sides of this. The same white stone as you saw outside, the same gold inlays, all very grand. But yes, you have found your way inside the tomb of the Gentle Breeze. And there is this kind of very pleasant breeze over your head. There are torches burning on the walls. To the eyes of Buku and Elan, these are clearly torches that have been magically enchanted to simply have sort of a light source that looks like a sort of candle, but there is a wispiness to them that is almost reminiscent of wind. They almost look less like flame and more like glowing air.
I did a brand sponsorship with those magical torches before. I miss the old days.
Oh, you know what? Actually, then with your, what do you have in influencering?
Mm-hmm.
What is your modifier for it in your knowledge?
+4 influencering.
I did say, and I did purposefully do influencering and not influencing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'll say that this looks like a with a 4. Whichever brand you've done like a thing with, like that was cool. This is like the artisan version that was like inspired by.
Oh, they must have stolen it from the brand, yeah.
I guess that is what she would think, yeah. So as you guys are standing here, there seems to be a sort of a path that heads about 60 feet, and then you actually see some steps leading up, and it seems to your eyes that this gale force that is blowing the doors sort of shut, stops. You would pass under some source of it, and then there's like a ceiling at some point, and then you see stairs leading up, so you're presuming that this passage simply takes you past that.
Well, I guess that's the way, right?
Oh, one other thing. Now that you have entered this chamber, XigXag, you do smell something slightly aberrative here. Some kind of aberration, not a large creature, but somewhere out of cover from your current position. Because your scent kind of doesn't go through cover, so, it's anything within 1,000 feet of unbroken. You smell one small, somewhat frail aberration of some kind of strange, far realmsy thing. Definitely up ahead.
Oh, also, I'm gonna go ahead and put that mask of Jarrett down so I can see in the dark and possibly see some hidden things.
Absolutely. At present, you don't see anything strange, but it's good to have ready to go.
Do I don't have my chameleon scales in human form, do I?
I think you do. Yeah, you can kind of and I've actually reskinned them here, skinned literally. You can scroll all the way to the right on your sheet. Again, sorry about the multi-axis nonsense. But if you scroll all the way over, they are described, and I'm actually just going ahead and making them be much more chameleon. It's like if you stand still, your scales will just like turn into what you're by. You really are more like a chameleon.
Because I could make it says I could make a sneak roll to become virtually invisible.
Yeah, but it only is when you're in a position.
Oh, but it ends when I move.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like you can hide yourself anywhere sort of for free, but then when you move, you're seen.
Well, then I'll do illusory faces and just sort of, kind of, like the color, whatever the stone color, the color of the walls is.
Absolutely, and you have multiple means of making your scales whatever. Cause yeah, you definitely blend in a bit with that look.
Field team Shishu.
In Camus, Albert Camus. You're reading Camus. No,
yeah,
you're basically.
I am the stranger.
It's like you're reading. You're wearing that sort of like you're wearing some kind of camo that just looks really influencer
I'm wearing
friendly.
Existential camo, and we call it camo.
God, existential camo is Camus.
Yeah.
My mom. Okay, so well, with that, what would you all like to do?
I'd imagine we should move forward.
I
not gonna
smell
find
an
anything here.
aberration somewhere here.
Really? Ew.
Not a major one though.
Does it
It's
smell like
small.
that, like real massive mess of mouths that we fought last? Like, Because that was not a pleasant time. And I
I
was wondering,
cannot tell that, but
Are you sure it's not
no,
just
it's not
Elon?
not a big one like that.
well, all right then. Well, fortunately, we have a very simple choice in front of us, and that we don't really have one. So I guess we're just gotta proceed on the only path before us.
Oh, and I guess I really should mention, just to clarify what it is you've all decided to do. You have come to the tomb that Elon conversed with something called the Unspeakable Eye, and said, "Come free all of us." And this is that tomb. And he did convey that to you, and several of you got a glimpse of this massive, aberrative, unspeakable thing here.
Well, we should probably proceed as carefully and slowly as we can here, and make sure that we don't, find ourselves in another. I mean, just so we don't die, I suppose, would be the simplest way of phrasing it, right? I'd hate for any of us to die in these biped forms. So probably just be
It
careful.
would be undignified, I agree.
Yeah, but I
It's-
mean, XigXag's gonna keep my brain, so I feel okay about taking risks right
yes,
now.
for posterity.
My brother taught me that you have to take a certain amount of risk.
It's true. It's true.
There's no success without risk.
Just as long as we manage it and don't,
As long as
Yeah.
Lord Buku goes up first, up front.
You do know eating my brain or keeping it or whatever won't make you smarter, right?
Wait,
I don't know
XigXag,
what
you're not
you are
gonna eat
talking
my brain.
about.
Are you gonna eat my
I
brain?
want to- No, I would not do that. It's for science and for the fans.
Can I
For
incite
the
that check?
fans.
That statement? Do I believe her?
You
He's
can
not
make.
gonna
There is
insight
no
Tell you
insight
what,
in this.
There is read person. Yeah, you can make a read person roll. That's under will, the green column.
That
And
would be
Shishu's not making
fantastic.
any insight because once XigXag said for the fans, Shishu was like, "That's right."
Well, to be
That's a-
fair,
Triple degree talisman
Triple degree of talisman.
and a double degree of trinket as well.
Which one would you like
As
to
I
use?
recall all. I would prefer to use. I prefer to use the stronger of the two, I suppose.
Here's the thing, though. What's fun about this game, like sometimes on a thing that like matters a little less or whatever, you're like, either way is good. I'll go the one more. But yeah, go stronger. XigXag, you can roll a deceive if you're lying.
The thing is that XigXag isn't exactly lying.
Then I can answer on your behalf.
XigXag is just messing with Buku, but she would take the brain if the situation arose.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Then
she doesn't have any plans at this point.
Then don't roll a deceive. Buku, you understand that XigXag is kind of pulling your scales a little bit, but she's not joking about
Also
harvesting
serious?
brains. Like she would harvest brains, but she's more just trying to like rile you up, ruffle their
Then I
talons
just
or whatever, yeah.
I just start walking forward without making comment. Then
Perfect. All right. So, as you sort of get to the area, the loud wind overhead, once you pass kind of, it's all sort of, dark and windy above, but when you pass under kind of an overhang, suddenly the sound becomes completely muffled behind you as you step through, and about 10 feet ahead of you, there is a pathway of gold-lined stairs. You do, however, Lord Buku, and with your knowledge and such, you see that totally not matching the vibe here. There is a strange glowing green, like, chunk of the wall that has been torn out. Kind of this beautiful white stone here has been cracked, and there's this strange green glow, and within this hole that's been carved through the wall, there is this symbol which I don't think your power tells you what language things are in, but it definitely looks extremely alien and strange. And it is some kind of protective sigil. I would like for you, though, you do have pretty darn high arcana, don't you?
I have I have extremely high Arcana.
You know what? What the heck? Oh my god, you do. All right.
Yeah.
Make an analyze roll. You can go you'll get 3 of your Arcana. Roll 10 d8s, and you can change 1 after the fact.
Okay.
You clearly need more than a second degree success for what you're doing here. But let's see what he can get.
Well, I have a 4th degree success in weapon.
Weapon. Oh, that's great because of power, strength, combat.
Yes.
You know that this is a protective thing, but you're sort of thinking about the combat techniques of it. You recognize the name of this symbol. It is something that from back in Wyrmloth you saw in some obscure tome. This is not the symbol you saw, but you can tell that symbol was trying to be this. This is called the Elder Sign.
Oh.
This is a symbol that gives protection specifically from aberrations from things from the far realms. What is interesting in your analysis, however, did you have a secondary success in this?
Yes.
You had a 2 of something as well?
Yes, I had 2 of trophy.
I'm gonna a trophy. Oh, that's actually fun for this kind of the something about that like vindictiveness actually plays up here to you. You believe that this elder side was probably created by an aberration.
Okay. It protects aberrations from other things, or it protects other things from aberrations?
It's primarily to protect against aberrations, but you feel an aberration put this here.
Oh, this is most unique. Can I tell whether it was formed on the inside or the outside? Was it created from our side of the barrier, or
I think
the other
that
side?
would require an investigate roll.
I would be happy to do such a thing.
Okay.
That's 5. And I can spend power to roll additional dice. Is that correct?
Before you roll, you can purchase more dice.
Oh.
After the
Then I
roll,
do not.
you can spend to re-roll or to change dice you've already rolled.
Oh, yeah, let's do that because I haven't done that yet. So I'll re-roll 3 dice.
Okay, so if you're
I'll keep 2
keep 2,
and re-roll the other 3.
so that will
Yes.
charge you 5 total.
All right. Okay, so I have a 3rd degree success in gemstone.
In gemstone, yes. Ooh, really? In gemstone? I love that. Thank you so much. Because,
You're welcome.
and you, as you begin to look upon this elder sign, it's something that probably could have flipped into your mind, and I just didn't realize till I got to see the word. You know that people sometimes are driven mad as they become obsessed with kind of these eldritch horrors, with these things, these great old ones, these things from this other place. So you lean in extremely close to this sigil, trying to determine what it is that put it here. Did it come from the inside or the out? You believe it was formed from without. But in your sort of obsessive leaning in as the other sort of dragonborn are there, you get very close. Close enough for a consciousness to touch your mind. As you realize that the green glow of this sigil comes from the thing that is behind it.
Oh.
Comes from the slurping, bulbous thing that has torn this symbol into the wall and seems to have passed beyond it. This consciousness goes to your mind and says, hold on, wrong music is playing. There we go. This consciousness goes into your mind and says, let me join you. A voice that is utterly alien and one you can understand completely.
When it says join me, it means to become a part of me? Or like join our party?
Let me join you. Lord Buku. Now, you're actually pretty damn good at this, but I will roll against it. Buku, I need you to go to your... Oh, damn, you get a lore die on it, too. Go to your will and do a resist coercion, as this thing is trying to conquer your brain. However, for the first time, I will be rolling for it. So you get to roll 7 dice total, changing 1 to whatever you want after the fact. Before you roll, if you want to spend 2 power and purchase, another thing on it, you may do so. If you want to give yourself an 8th die, or even more. But
I'm good.
okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I should also mention, Lord Buku, that in this circumstance, a tied degree of success will come down to a tiebreaker between the treasure that you've rolled. Some treasures will be more useful than others in this. I'll go ahead and tell you, gemstone in this case is bad because your interest and obsession with this strange thing might cause you to... Gemstone will lose to anything.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, I have a 4th degree of success in artwork.
4th degree of success in artwork.
Both the inspiration of this creative creature and the intricacy of this design that's been put in here, and anything bold enough to put their mind into my own, and envy that they might have that kind of power over me.
I think...
Also a 2nd degree success in trophy, as my competitiveness and vindictiveness maybe don't allow me to get control.
As I'll even say this because I have a 4th degree success in trophy. But I am going to say that your sort of intent, your inspiration, your being impressed with this, and I'll even give you almost a positive thing of envy, because I did not have a secondary success. So I'm going to give that kind of a combination. I will give this to you almost in a feeling of this thing would like to take you as a trophy. You have resisted it, but you kind of wouldn't mind taking it as a trophy.
Yes, indeed.
So this consciousness says, am I going to join you? What would you like to reply?
Are you going to join me? I'm going to say in the haughtiest voice I can. Kneel before me and pledge fealty, and you may join me. But I am your master, not the other way around.
Is this conversation happening internally or externally?
Lord Buku, you heard that internally. The rest of you did not. Would you like to say that part out loud? You believe it will understand you whether you communicate telepathically or aloud.
I will say out loud, creature beyond this barrier, you dare to invade my mind, and you wish to take over it. Unfortunately, you have met your better. If you wish to become a part of me, bow down, pledge fealty, and I shall lead you to great glory.
Go ahead and do an intimidate roll.
I don't know, will it?
Do we have popcorn?
Popcorn?
I'm gonna spend.
Popcorn, yes. I want to
XigXag.
take out of a...
Great.
I'm gonna channel Duchess and
Yeah,
have
exactly.
a bag of popcorn.
I'm gonna spend 4 power and give myself 10 dice for this sucker.
So
He's
it's
spending them like no tomorrow.
It's 2 per additional.
Oh,
A bonus on the
no,
rolls
good.
2, so you'd have to spend.
But I'll give myself 2 extra.
There you go. Yeah.
Otherwise. As good as I was hoping. I got 3 double successes.
3 double. So which one would you like to use?
The weapon, tome, or trinket. Tome.
Tome is the right answer. Speaking with this promise of knowledge, of information. In response to this, you see the green glow intensify along one of the path of the Elder Sign as a tentacle squeezes through it, almost like a wet plastic bag getting put in, lurches, and then this glowing multi-tentacled thing falls out of the wall, kind of climbing down like the old, slimy thing you throw at the wall and it kind of, that old toy. It does that sort of down the side of the wall and sort of looks at you, and then folds all of its tentacles sort of in and kind of like slurches itself over in what you think is a submissive gesture.
Without rolling with my natural ability to analyze or have insight, would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, it is. It is clearly it was making it clear to three-dimensional beings such as yourselves what it's doing. Yes, for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Then mentally, I would like to confirm with it. This needs to be a binding pledge of fealty. Any attempt to take my life will end its, or take over my mind will end its life.
It will reply telepathically, and this time, kind of like one of the tentacles sort of like waves in the direction of Tongart and XigXag and Shishu and Elon, almost as if kind of maybe tentacles feeling your presence. With your own blind sight, you guys probably recognize that kind of, it's sniffing you in some strange way, kind of feeling you. And you all hear in your mind this very flat voice kind of atop this just chorus of maddening, strange babbling. This thing says, "If you can defeat the unspeakable horror, you are worthy not only of my service, but of the service of trapped Githrinkok." And Githrinkok is... How many apostrophes do we think Githrinkok has?
At least
3.
4.
At least I'm going 4. I think 4 is
At
accurate.
least 4.
Nah, I'll put it into
Drink. Call.
Oh, there's an R missing
Buku-
in that. Sorry, it's only 2.
So I just want to say, Buku hears that, and
I'll put it
he
in this chat too.
yeah, put it in the chat. He hears that, and he almost agrees. Goes, it's about to speak, and then he looks at everyone else to just just locking eyes with everyone to get their approval. Ending with Tangot and making sure that he is in approval of this.
So, if I can understand the situation clearly,
Mm-hmm.
you have as far as the information that has been presented to us, you have looked at a sigil, said being beyond the realm, or beyond this thing, you've met your better, now bow and swear fealty, and it came out and it bowed, but we haven't heard any of the other anything else.
Oh. Yes, it swore fealty to me as well. It might have illuminated the fact that we have to defeat a great evil or something.
I'm just trying to make
but
clarity of what was out loud and not. Anything it's saying
Yes.
is basically only being broadcast to you, right?
That's accurate.
Okay.
This kind of reminds me of when my dad was trying to sabotage one of his competitors, and he made a sort of deal with one of his competitors, and then was able to do a hostile takeover.
So
It's
cool.
also the weekend he cheated on her mom, but other than that,
I mean, not that part. Yeah.
yeah, it was. But it seemed like the strategy was sound.
Well, Alonzo, when the competitor of your father's competitor just still be a competitor to him?
No. See, so we got my father, and then his competitor, and then his competitor's competitor was sort of it's think of it like a triangle. It's like the triangle defense.
The triangle of success. Yes,
Wow.
I heard of that.
Yeah,
Did your
Alon,
father
you
cheat
are-
on your mother with the competitor of the competitor, or was
that's
that
not really
just a
relevant to the
separate-
story. I don't know why you're bringing that up.
Well, you mentioned it. I was just circling
Well,
back around.
Well, I
Isn't it?
just look at Boku and trying to just say that as long as I can have your brain, whatever, I don't care.
No, but I feel like we should get powerful friends. Really.
Oh, I understand. That is a depressive display of trigonometry there. Elon.
We can
Uh,
always make friends with our competitors.
Mhm.
Or no, your
Well-
competitors.
It's about co amplification.
That's
right. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with.
I can't even do that with a straight face.
There's nothing wrong with
it's
having a.
amplification. That was the name of his first Elon's first combinator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then
mean, it
let's
got
co.
destroyed-
Let's
it got
co-amplify
destroyed
this
by
relationship
humans,
here.
So whatever. Like
Yes,
So
we have a saying in our family of the friend of your enemy's friend is your friend or an enemy.
That makes perfect sense, actually.
Your
Yes.
friend, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's also a family saying of ours.
it is, and I just feel like
Word
it
for
makes
word.
more sense when my brother says it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
well, and where I come from, we also have a saying which is just the more the merrier. So I think we're all sort of in alignment here.
Oh.
Excellent.
Oh.
I will turn to
When our
Gthrinkog.
dad cheated on our mom, he came home and he said we all deserve to be immortal. So that's another thing that we like to say.
Mhm.
And just to clarify,
Creature.
this is not Gthrinkog. This is something that is saying, if you can defeat
Right.
that, not only I, but Gthrinkog will serve you.
We
The
have no idea who
Gthrinkog?
that is. but
Yeah,
Sure.
like, no. Like, you guys know who I am? I know Gthrinkog.
Oh, so
But does
Gthrinkog
Gthrinkog know
is some
you?
sort of celebrity, I guess. Is Gthrinkog a destructor? Too?
Are you asking this creature?
Sure.
Oh, can we talk to him now, or is he
I
only
mean-
talking for Buku?
I mean, I guess it would reply to you if you ask it a question. Right now, it's more focused on Buku, hoping that this is an agreement that is
I
being
will,
struck. Because otherwise, it's going to hide behind its elder sign.
when I can address it, I shall. Minion, creature that has bowed before me and pledged your allegiance. We shall do this task you request of us. And in exchange, you shall follow all of us, me primarily, though, me above all else, but all of us in our continued quests and advancement here. Serve us
Yes, it-
faithfully, and you shall be rewarded accordingly. What shall I call you?
There you go.
You can call me the Spore.
Do you have a nickname or like something shorter?
A shoes board?
Shush, shush.
I am a
Just a
Spore.
That's exotic.
His name is
Oh.
Shug. 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 Excellent.
Like
Well,
a-
he
like
does.
Can I be
Like
a knight?
soup.
Okay, yeah.
Does seem like it does seem rather sweet.
Is it the thing that I was smelling?
This is the thing you were smelling. All right.
Excellent. Shug. What what is it? We are here looking for an item of some power that may aid us in our endeavors here. A weapon of sorts? Have you an idea where that might be?
Yes. In the tomb. The one buried here. It is buried and interred
this-
with them.
Oh, great, because we're here for that.
You can face the unspeakable horror and claim such worldly possessions.
Oh, could you describe this unspeakable horror?
The unspeakable horror cannot be spoken of.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense.
It is all horrors at once.
That is a
That being
Like all of
said,
them?
there is a telepathic like instance of it, and I think Elon certainly touched it, but I think like XigXag, like some of you also, you all got a bit of a glimpse of it when you did that thing that allowed you to not be charmed. Oh yeah, by the way, even if this thing had like conquered your mind, I guess it couldn't have charmed you. I just remembered that because you guys are literally all immune to being charmed. Anywho, as you
Thank you.
so that wound up being that was a low risk
Well,
situation. It was spooky
not
but low
mag-
risk.
Not magically charmed. We can still, you can still be taken.
That is true. Your brain could still be puppeted from the inside by an elder thing. Fair. So,
Exactly.
but Shug is happy to kind of presents as much of the unspeakable horror as it can to you, and you guys, you get it. Those of you who saw it, you're like, yup, that thing, that's the thing. Elon, this is the thing that said, "Come free me," which was rough.
Do we know that? Do I know that that's the same thing? That
No, you know that Elon did say you guys should come here, but you don't know about any.
Perfect. Actually, that's great. I'll turn to Elon and say, Elon, is Shug the reason why we should have come here? Does it seem like...
I am so sorry. No, that is actually... Elon said Elon suggested you guys come here to speak to the unspeakable horror as it helped you there, and then started calling it Paul. And Lord Buku actually wondered if he was being controlled by Paul. Tongart really thought this was great, but you were wondering if this was... Lord Buku thought this was too much character development. I think Lord Buku found that people would not find this believable.
That's right. I remember now.
Were you
I was
trying to
overjoyed
silence
that you wanted to help someone.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
So Elon said we should come save this thing. Yeah.
But Buku didn't want to?
It just seemed out of character for Elon.
I will say that at this point, it's hard for us to believe that, like, Elon could have another act, you know? We feel like we know who Elon is.
It's kind of, you know...
I'm not talking about this guy. Anyway, once you kill just all the birds like that, there used to be so many more birds. You've really just devalued all the birds. All the ravens. It's like, I don't know if you come back from this. Anywho, so that is this unspeakable horror. Elon sort of had told you about that. But you also know your main goal here, I think all you agree, is to get that sword.
All right. Well, I would like to ask Elon, is Shug Paul that you were conversing with previously?
I think it is, right? Yeah.
No, Shug seems to be an independent, a separate. Yeah, I know.
There's like so many players here.
Yeah, sorry about this. This is remember Buku, you had that whole thing of like, oh, this is an aberration protecting itself from an aberration. Sorry. I mean, this is, on the other hand, this is what this game is.
Like, I don't know, but yeah, I guess. Basically.
They're all the same.
I mean, one's an aberration. Like, what's the difference between?
You just cannot tell aberrations apart.
then Alan, this
All
is
aberrations look the same.
Alan, this is fantastic news, then, my friend. Because then you've come and we've saved the person you came here to save. So now all that we gotta do is head on down to get this sword.
I mentally tell Shug, why didn't you tell me that you had already contacted my compatriot here? This seems very fortuitous.
I have not. You were the first entity I've contacted in a long time. For the rest, either serve or were subsumed by the unspeakable horror.
Paul, I would imagine. At this
Paul?
point. That's what my friend called him.
Could I get on the line? Could I?
Excuse me. I'm talking right now. We're having a. It's just give me a second.
I mean, can we just go ahead? I mean, I feel like this might be.
Buku,
Can you
do
patch
know
me
that
in?
you move your lips when you're doing that?
I do. I move my lips when I'm doing that. I'm like,
I mean, my loyalty is really to Paul.
That's a good one. Shug. I like that. That's very. Looks at Elon. You're right. You're so right.
I have not said anything. Have I already broken your mind? Did I probe too hard?
No. I was just. Don't worry. It's an inside.
Why are your
inside
lips
joke.
moving? You're not speaking aloud.
I don't know. It's just it makes it easier for me to keep my thoughts concentrated. My lips cast magical spells to protect me from dangers while we converse silently.
That's like such a gross way to put it.
I see.
Okay,
Well-
excellent. Well, we should probably
I mean, I feel like
I
we
would
should
imagine.
we continue. So what does Shug know about Paul?
I thought you said Shug was Paul.
I mean, it's sort of vaguely feels similar.
Yes.
But I'm
He's
not-
not Paul.
Good.
He's not Paul.
Well,
He did
so
confirm
does
that.
he know Paul? Like, do they know each other? Can you ask him?
He
Like, did they grow up together?
I thought Paul was the unspeakable horror.
well Shug seems to
Yeah, have we won? Have we won D&D yet?
You know what? Hold on.
Shug seemed
You
to
know what?
mention the fact that
Shug, I'm gonna do something that genuinely I
Have I-
think is what would happen at this moment. Shug slurches back to the wall.
hey, Shug.
He starts climbing up back to his elder side.
I put a hand on him and grab him like Shug.
Okay,
Just one
he
piece.
feels real weird.
It's that was
He kind of turns back, and in your mind it says, I am not sure I estimated you correctly. You are a being of power, but you may be too chaotic for me.
Trust me. We have nothing but success on our minds. Treasure is our goal, and power is mine. You would like power. You would like this thing defeated? Stick with us.
I would like Gthrinkog freed, and we will serve you.
And I would
Oh.
like nothing more. Trust me.
I would
We
like to
should
just.
get
I just
moving,
want to
I
like at this point.
Make a
Did you
persuade
mention-
roll, Lord Buku. Yeah?
I just want to like go
Under
like
will.
this
Mm-hmm.
and like really think hard about Gthrinkog. See if there's like a little ping going on.
Okay.
Oh, and the old Brainiac.
Interesting. Lord Buku, what did we have?
Second degree success for both coinage and tome.
Which would you
Appealing
like?
to, I mean,
Tome.
I cannot appeal to both of these, like
You-
knowledge and greed.
You're appealing to both, but which one is sort of your, kind of
Yes.
how would you want the color of it to go more?
I can tell this is a being of intellect, so we'll go with tome.
In response to this, and it's like the tentacles where you're touching it, because this thing is just tentacles, but like the tentacles where you're touching it, your hand is like numb, and there's like an acidic feeling, but they're not melting. It's more like they're just like thing. But in response, it just slurches like onto your wrist and like up around your fingers, and it kind of looks like maybe a couple of tentacles are just going straight through your hand and kind of coming out at weird angles elsewhere. That's probably fine. It doesn't hurt. It feels not permanent. It might just be going through you. But it's weird. Anyway, so it's you've convinced. Shug to
Once
stick
it
around.
gets on my hand, I'm gonna take my hand off and I'm gonna say we should I think continue further in, since we have things to find and we can continue talking while we walk. And
You
I'm
should
just gonna
find a pool of water and wash your hand.
I'm gonna keep having a conversation with Shug, trying to get an idea of like what we're going up against, where we're going, those sorts of things. If there's any other treasure in this place, getting to know him. Does he have family? How long has he been here?
In fact, Shug will explain as you if you're saying Shug can kind of give you some directions, but Shug will explain to you, Elon, you're getting nothing off that thought. You're sort of trying to think, but you're not getting anything. But nevertheless, I want you to make an intellect roll, just to stand a flat intellect. Or is that really bad for you? Yep, do it. It's really bad for you. Let's give it a shot. You got 2 d8s. Let's see if you just happen to, if you roll a match, amazing. Otherwise, you're not so much a psychic, psionic kind of guy. It makes sense.
Nah.
Yeah, you're just thinking. You're not getting that. You're not getting anything. This place just seems weird. Lord Buku, if you will get a pretty quick sense of the layout of this tomb. A sense that there are aberrations everywhere. There are also still some leftover sort of air-based, wind-based things. But most of the actual, like the Arai themselves, and I think Shug can tell everyone this. So Shug will sort of convey to you all that this tomb was taken over by aberrations. There were once beings called Arai who sort of were in charge of it, were placed here. They were captured and made to sort of guard this tomb for some purpose by the Dark Lord, the Pharaoh. But aberrations arrived and are now sealed in here. They destroyed these elemental creatures and are hoping to get out. Shug will also explain that you're asking about Shug's family. So Shug is a spore of Gthringog, who is a Shuggoth. So
Shug spore. I got it. I get it now. I understand. It's excellent. And I'm sure a very proud lineage you come from.
Gthringog is one of the Shuggoths who sort of originally came here. Most of them were subsumed by the unspeakable horror. Gthringog was not. And the unspeakable horror has sort of trapped Gthringog. And then Shug.
So Gthringog is powerful.
Gthringog is a Shuggoth, which is a pretty... I mean, if you know Elder Sign, you know what that is. That's like a pretty scary, like... That's like the attack dogs of aberrations. That's these just kind of like they're invisible, probably not to dragons. They're these just, also weird tentacled, lots of mouths and tongues. And I mean, just Lovecraftian nonsense.
It's great. All I saw were treasure signs, so that's perfect.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bigger horde. I'm in.
So, just as a double checking, Dragon Master.
Yeah.
There was like a set of steps that this was carved into. The steps lead down.
The steps lead up into the pyramid. You guys have not even started. Like, this is all at the foot of some steps, like in like a injury.
Oh, we're still in the foyer.
You guys, yeah, you are. You haven't got upstairs yet.
Got it. Well, I said, well, then I believe maybe we have a new friend here. Perhaps we should do as the bomb says and get to stepping.
Agreed. Let us. These claws are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
All right. Well, if you
I'm gonna say it better myself.
Okay.
if you all begin heading up the stairs, first is everyone laugh at me for thinking that we would do like a quick tutorial game.
Yeah.
That's a funny idea.
That was good.
I think you guys have a sense of the mechanics of skills and how like the overall of rolling works. I don't really want to get into a fight sequence starting so late in the night, and there's probably going to be some fight sequences soon. But we spent a lot of time with Shug, and I'm totally happy with that. So I think we may actually kind of call it here as you begin heading up the stairs. But go ahead, Tonguard, unless there's a thing you
then
want
I
to
just
do. Or,
I have just one little beat before we head.
Sure.
As we're walking up the stairs, I just want to walk like saddle up next to Buku and Shug. Say, Buku, I just want to say thank you for sort of including us in this decision process. I appreciate you elevating me to be included in the decision-making process this time. I think that's what a good leader does, and I'm happy to see that.
Of course. The leader's only as strong as the folks that follow him. And in this case, well, we need more followers, but I feel like a very strong leader at the moment. So, yeah, I trust your judgment and insight completely. And then I would like to ask Shug mentally if he can connect me to Tongard's mind. Can we get on a mini group call?
Conference call?
That's interesting.
Can you Avar Cress us?
Exactly.
We're gonna call it here. Wait a minute.
You know what? That's very interesting. Let me think on that for a moment. I suspect I'm gonna let Shug attempt it, but this is you are asking something that Gthrinkog could probably do. But this is a mere spore, a mere,
Give me a very bad pet for Luca to have.
Yeah. Let's see here. I just rolled on 4 dice, 3 sevens.
Okay.
Which is accomplishment and such. I will actually say that yes, Shug can do. Basically, Shug can provide some limited. It won't be a direct connection. It will be Shug relaying silently information. So it takes a little time, but Shug can get the bandwidth to do that. Sure, why not?
I would like to ask Shug to relay to both Tongart and XigXag that Paul is this unspeakable horror we're about to face in all likelihood, and we should probably keep an eye on Elon.
Yes, I agree.
And maybe not tell him all of that right now. That part was for Tangart. I figured XigXag would know that intrinsically.
Yeah.
What were you guys talking about? What?
So
Nothing. I'm just humming to myself.
So there's just something I really need to be clear on before we proceed forward. And it's really more of a question for, I guess, like Alana and Shishu here.
Is this allowed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I go this.
What does the affair have to do with any of this? Because it kept coming up, and I just couldn't track that. It really seemed like the affair was tied to the success of the plan.
What affair are you talking about?
How your father cheated on your mother.
There wasn't any affair.
I mean, you did say that there was a.
No, I didn't.
That he.
I guess that's fair. You did not use the word affair.
No.
I believe you said that your father. It was the same weekend your father cheated on your mother.
I didn't say that. That's ridiculous. My father is completely faithful.
No, he said, we all deserve to be immortal, but that just happened to be the weekend he came home after cheating on our mother.
Right. So,
is it getting dimmer in here? Are the lamps going down?
As you guys climb up the steps towards whatever happens, the only true unspeakable horror are the alternative facts presented by Elon Guterres. So, as we, I think we will close it out there. Welcome back, dragons.
Yeah.
Welcome all viewers. We hope that you guys enjoyed our first night back of this silliness. This was super fun. I'm actually gonna ask a
I didn't say that.
I'm gonna ask a scheduling question on air because I just totally forgot to. So we are taking this game bi-weekly. My thought was that we would play this on the first and third Sunday of the month, and maybe some fifth Sundays or what, we'll kind of as depending, but generally speaking, it would be the first and third. Right. So that means we would not play next week, but we would play the week after. However, if you guys want to and it fits people's schedules, we could do, kind of 3 in a row to get us back into the groove. Or if taking off next week would be better for people, we can do that. I'm asking you this publicly so we can also talk about this and just announce it later, but this will let people know if we'll be back next week, or it's generally going to be every 2 weeks. What do we think? Should we want to do this next week, or are we is it good to have it be a sort of off and on situation starting already?
Whatever works for me.
Cool.
I may have a ridiculous recording scheduled on that Sunday, actually. So
okay.
Next Sunday.
Well then, let's maybe say that we're going to start an every other week situation. So in 2 weeks' time, we will be back with this game. To see what happens with the new, and I really was not trying to get you guys embroiled in more stuff. I mean, I was in the sense of like you were gonna be a thing, but I was not trying to. It's just wonderful. It's just wonderful.
So
It's what we do. If there isn't a new quest every
you
session,
can't, Philip,
what
you
are we
can't
doing?
stop a duck taking to water, Philip.
Okay, well that's fair, and that is
No,
true. These
it's the relentless pace of innovation.
that is innovation means every quest we. God, you guys at some point. I will present something, and it will come with weird stuff, but I will present something that will purchase all of your quests. Like you can like trade all your quests for it can
Amazing.
bundle your quest debt.
Bundle. Yeah, no, it's really good.
True,
We're just
true
we're just,
wealth is measured in the debt that you owe.
Let's
We're
call
just-
it a
yeah, we're just
bubble.
the- yeah, we're just leveraging the debt.
Yeah,
of-
we're just leveraging our quests. That's what everyone does it. Everyone does it.
Oh my god.
You-
And quest prices never go down, so we are safe.
Oh my god. What if the quest
Have you
market
guys
crashes?
invested? Have you even invested in this new coin that's based on it's totally backed by quests?
It's called Quest Coin.
Yeah.
We're farming
It's going
quest
viral.
coin by starting
You
on
will
Uh,
increase. You
I
will
thought
increase
it
your
was called
hoard. No one
Bitcoin.
can steal it.
well, that's the thing.
Every
We
quest
got
is
to
on every quest is on the chain.
well, we have to
Just don't-
corner. Yeah, we have to
God.
corner the quest market so we can control the value.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's what we've been doing, isn't it?
You really have been
Maybe
cornering
we
the quest
should-
market. Yes, that is
we
true.
should-
I love the idea that there are so many adventurers who cannot get a quest because you guys have all of them.
You know what we should
Well,
do?
maybe we
should
could
send out.
sell them some of
Not
our
our
quests
fault.
and double
You
up-
should sell your
First-
quest to first level D&D.
Well, so no, it's just called subquesting. That's what it's called.
First, we need to send out a bunch of crows telling everybody how
Just,
great these quests are and drive the price
flipping
up.
quests.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then,
we
yeah.
Then we
yeah.
offload it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just contract some adventures on a temporary basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we let them go. We don't
Right,
give
right.
them any.
Yeah, that way we don't. Yeah,
have
that way we don't have to pay
benefits
them
or things.
benefits or
Yeah. We'll pay them like marginally for their time, but we'll keep the end goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They should be thankful. They should be thankful
Yeah,
that,
that
we're
they have
creating
any quests at
opportunities for
all.
them.
Yes.
It's profit sharing, and honestly, it's the most level 1 adventurers can really expect to gain.
Everybody has to start somewhere, you know.
but the
Work
thing
your
is,
way
what
up
you-
with
what-
hard work,
Oh,
and
but what-
eventually you can be like us.
What you do is maybe you even let them keep the money, but you keep all the XP, so they they can never get out of it. They can never get
No,
bigger.
exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
They
Now,
can buy the XP back
Whatever.
from us.
here
Yeah,
we
no,
are
you want
just-
some. I mean, keep the potions, whatever. We're just gonna hoard them anyway.
Let's just laugh about the world burning. Super fun game. So we will see you all. We'll see you many times. Tomorrow night, come back for Lost Lore Academia. Today we are finishing up the collaborative scholarship event, and I believe today it seems like everyone's doing Maisie the item. So that'll be interesting. I think you guys will probably research that and learn what that is by tomorrow. So join us tomorrow night for that game, where we will have a bunch of characters show up, including a very hit character named of Jacket Girl. And I had to change Jacket Girl's mini today because apparently she's a brunette because of Aubrey Plaza from SNL last night. On Tuesday, Gray in the Dark will be back as we continue our adventure through the Fairylands. They are just they're on a musical journey through the Fairylands. That's what's currently happening. And then on Friday, 13 Tombstones continues on Blood from a Stone,
boy.
which has been it's been crazy, and the stakes just got up. There are 6 Mistwalkers. We're in the last one. 6 of them were just all there. There's gonna be
Good
more
Lord.
coming probably. It's Hopper was back and all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, so check that out. And then a week from tonight, we will not have a Here Be Dragons. We'll be off. We'll be back. So 2 weeks from tonight for Here Be Dragons. Next week we might be dark in this time slot, or maybe we will run the first of our. I was planning on starting in February. Maybe we could do the very last of January. We're going to be doing kind of like assorted Star Wars games on the alternate Sundays. So perhaps we'll even have a Star Warsy thing next week. Star Tales, I think we'll be calling it. But we'll or maybe just the Holocron. I'm not sure what we're going to title that one.
But yeah, check our Instagram and our Discord, right?
Yeah.
I just posted the links for that.
Oh, perfect. Yes, we will let you guys know what happens on those. So that'll be alternating Sundays. So and then 2 weeks back here with Here Be Dragons. So excited to have this group back together again. This is going to be super fun. So thank you all so much for watching. until what? So does anybody remember what I said? Roar well, have a dragony day. The spread your wings, scale that mountain.
You
I
said
remember-
none of those things.
Yeah, no, I remember trying to get you to do "Don't let the night drag on," but I don't think.
Don't let the night drag on.
But that is not one you ever did.
Not have a dragony night.
I
all right.
honestly think the bit with this one was that you just did something different every time.
Oh, okay,
Something
that's fair.
fly true, fly high, fly
Fly
true.
high, thanks for the memories. I think I said that, but that's more for the werewolf. That's better. All right, well, everybody, this was delightful. It's so great to have you all back. Thank you so much, players. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Until next time, hoard it up. Hoard it up. That's a thumbs down. Okay, fair enough.